Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny and I'm going to try my best to be consistent this year. So if I don't know where my headphones are and I am using these mics, I'm not sure how well it sounds, but I just wanted to read a few Reddits today. Okay. Oh man, it was removed. My husband found out my secret today and it said funny. Oh well, okay. Next one. Okay, so this Reddit says AITAH for refusing to help my parents care for my son who they adopted. I am an oops baby, meaning that her parents did not mean to get pregnant. My folks had me when they were in their early 40s. I got pregnant when I was in university. I probably can't write here why I didn't want it. I wanted to not be pregnant, but my parents said they would cut off all aid to me if I did that. So I carried it to term. Then I wanted to put the child up for adoption or drop him at a fire station or something. I was not on a good place. Okay. It's a baby, though. My goodness. And my parents insisted on adopting him, so he is legally my brother. I do not hate him, but he is a reminder of something terrible that happened to me. I now go back home as little as possible. Okay. So we could be the product of a really terrible situation that happens a lot. I now go back home as little as possible, maybe 2 days a year. I have graduated and I have a life far away from my parents. My brother is 12 now. My brother is 12 now, and he is not well behaved. My parents are now in their 70s and are having a shitty retirement. They have to dedicate all their time to him. They can't take the vacations they planned. They won't downsize to a condo, so they still have yard work and stuff that he will not help with. None of my actual siblings will watch him to give them a break. They reached out to me for help. I said no. I said that he is their son and their responsibility. They think I'm being cruel for forcing them to do everything after they helped me so much. It took everything I had in me not to curse them out. Some of my relatives have reached out to me to see why I refuse to help fix the mess I made. Then I curse out and block. None of them helped me when I was pregnant against my will. The biological father is on the registry and cannot be near kids before you ask. Wow. For one, I think it's not very kind of you to not help. Let's see what the comments say. So they adopted him thinking you'd come around and eventually be the mother. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. You're not the asshole, but I'd change my tactic when the hassle comes. I'd have a typed out response ready to cut and paste in. Remind everyone that you did not want this pregnancy. Forced, you did not want to keep this child. Forced, and for a third time, you will not be forced to do anything. I agree. I agree with that. She just needs to take her approach differently because she didn't want to have a baby. It was probably, he's on a registry. He's on a list, okay? The dad is on a list. So I understand her wanting to give it up for adoption, and that's what should have happened. Okay? That baby shouldn't have gone to someone in the family because he is just a reminder to her of what happened to her. I don't believe in but I do believe in whatever's right for you. That's what I believe in. So if that's what's right for you, that's what's right for you. I personally don't know if I could, but I've never luckily been in this situation. So here's the update. She says, "Thank you guys for finally giving me the motivation to tell my story to my family and to cut ties with my parents. I did as many of you suggested and I wrote everything out. I explained that I had been violently assaulted and raped, that my parents, who were my only support, told me that they would be kicking me out, stopping paying for my education, and removing me from their health insurance if I took Plan B. I further explained that when I found out I was pregnant from the rape, they once again coerced me the same way into carrying the fetus to term. And now they insist on adopting him after I stated never wanted to see him again. I wanted him up for a closed adoption, but they would not relent. I then added pictures of me from the hospital, blood, bruises, missing teeth, shattered face, everything. I included a recent picture of myself with my orbital prosthesis removed so everyone could see the permanent damage. Wow. I posted everything onto the family group chat. I included that I would not now consider the matter closed and have decided to completely cut myself from all of them completely. It was my New Year's gift to myself and my mental health. I have received messages and emails from family members using unknown numbers and emails to tell me that they didn't know about all of this and that they were so sorry. I blocked the news sources. I'm just done. I honestly have not had the strength to do this until you guys gave it to me. Thank you. Wow. That's incredible. I'm glad that she's doing better. I am. I'm so glad. There may come times when you second guess yourself, so I want you to remember you owe no one a sacrifice because of decisions they made, and most especially decisions made against you. They forced you to have this baby and then adopted it, knowing that you have permanent damage to your body from this baby, from what happened in order to get this baby on this earth. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. People are terrible. Am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife? I don't know. Good question. So, some important context. I, 26 male, and my ex wife, 26 female, were what you call high school sweethearts. We got together in ninth grade back in 2015 and have been together for approximately 10 years, 3 of which married. We as a couple have been through thick and thin, a long distance relationship, bigoted parents, and quasi homelessness. Not every person is privileged enough to have such a partner. Whatever social financial standing we had, we achieved it together. That only adds a sense of unparalleled respect to the already immense love I felt and still feel for her. So, anyway, back in March, she broke the news that she was pregnant. This was not in any way planned pregnancy. I can safely say a baby was not in any checklist I had at the time, primarily because I felt I wasn't ready to take on the responsibilities of a father and the fact that I know my parents, who are longing for a grandchild, would never acknowledge any I had with my wife, but she single-handedly convinced me that this was a feasible endeavor and I quote, possibly the best fucking thing that would ever happen to us, period. Hang on. I can safely say a baby was not in any checklist I had at the time, primarily because I felt I wasn't ready to take on the responsibilities of a father. And the fact that I know my parents, who are longing for a grandchild, would never acknowledge any I had with my wife, she said, but she single handedly convinced me that this was a feasible endeavor, and I quote, possibly the best fucking thing that I don't understand. So we as a couple drove headfirst into this. I cannot properly express in words what happened next, but any decent parent would understand what I'm trying to say. Ever since I saw my little girl in that ultrasound, I've developed this bond that transcends all others. My wife couldn't have been happier. Fast forward 2 months, late May, my wife had done a complete 180. One afternoon, she abruptly said that she no longer wanted to raise our daughter. I was instantly taken aback, and ever since then, it had been a true hell for me. Me and the in laws had tried finding the reason behind this sudden change and tried to make her feel comfortable with the choice we've initially made in so many words and actions, but to no avail. She was adamant that we put the baby up for adoption as soon as she was born. For clarity, an adoption. Oh, okay. For clarity, an abortion was never on the cards for anybody here, not solely because it was borderline inaccessible where we live, but because it's simply inconceivable even to the woman that no longer wanted the child. I made her know in no uncertain terms that I had in no intention whatsoever of putting our baby up for adoption, and she developed this bizarre idea that I'd chosen the unborn baby over her, and that, to me, she had become insignificant. I love my wife, but to be perfectly honest, I've grown to love my girl just as much, if not more. The last thing I wanted was to choose between my wife and my child because either way I'd be losing something irreplaceable. And I was afraid I'd grow to resent the person that gave me such an ultimatum. I felt like I was alone in this because at the end of the day, her parents were just first and foremost her parents. I couldn't go to my parents for obvious reasons or our friends, bless their souls, because they weren't emotionally equipped to handle something of this caliber. I tried to take her to see a therapist many, many times, but she refused, saying I was trying to build a case for a future custody fight. I was so not. So fast forward to December, we had the baby and she hadn't changed her mind. At that point, I was convinced that we was no longer feasible, and I filed for divorce and sole custody with an added injunction. I have to mention that I had to go to my parents, the last thing I wanted to do, and oh boy, were they giddy, in order to ensure that the district court does take up the case on its own merits, since the case chances of a single father all on his own getting custody of a newborn is slim to none. The tame version of what happened next is she flipped out. I can see how, from her perspective, she can see this as a deep betrayal. But what other choice did I have, really? She called me every name in the book. Even her parents, who I was close with for more than my own, concurs. So am I the a-hole? Could I have done something different? No. What in the world? Must be hormones or something making her feel like that. Not the a-hole, but you should get a DNA test just in case. Okay. Yeah, why all of a sudden does she not want her baby? Maybe it's not yours. As a father for a baby girl, do not let that woman abandon your child to anyone else but you. She is free to not want to raise her daughter, but it is mind boggling that she wouldn't just let you take care of her. Whatever happens, you make damn sure to find a way to be with your little girl. I'm sorry this is happening to you. Wow, what the heck? Oh my God. No, you're not the a hole. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. In 2026, I plan to just give you something to watch if you're bored, something to listen to if you're bored, and I will be reading some Reddits, and I have some documents on Idaho that I would like to talk about. So, yeah, stick around, and I hope you have a good evening. Bye.